Every time we see, first of all, let's start this video off by saying rest in peace to DMX, one of the realest and most talented that ever came through and did it. DMX kind of like wore his heart on his sleeve, but he was a real one. You know what I mean? A man of principles at that. Struggled with his demons, but he was human. So it seems like DMX died and he did not have a will in place when he died. So there's lots of money on the table, and then after that comes lots of problems, right? I just did a little research, and as far as I found, DMX's estate, including his music, publishing royalties, was estimated to be worth around $17.7 million. Now, a detailed breakdown of that said that the royalties valuation, Billboard estimated that DMX total music and publishing royalties would be worth 17.7 million. Court paper says 1 million. Master recording royalties are valued at 13.86 million according to Billboard. Publishing royalties another 3.84 million. Co-publishing royalties another 5.8 million, increasing the overall evaluation from the 17.7 million to 19.6 million is how much they're saying his whole estate would be worth. DMX left no will. That's a lot of money that's on the table. DMX also had bills, mortgage, alimony, unsecured creditors. So those will have to be paid off first. With that said, though, according to Hot New Hip Hop, Tashera Simmons, which is DMX's ex, she attempted to use language in her and DMX's divorce agreement to claim ownership of his entire catalog. You know, if she made off with that entire catalog, she'll be making off with like 20 million or more. As a matter of fact, I just seen Biggie Smalls catalog get sold. I'm thinking DMX catalog is going to be worth way more than that at the end of the day. So a judge in New York has now ruled that DMX's ex-wife, Tashera Simmons, cannot claim a 50% stake in DMX's music catalog and other intellectual property rights. She had attempted to do so by filing a lawsuit against his estate last year. She cited that the couple's 2016 divorce agreement had something in it that said she was entitled to 50%. So if his net worth off that catalog is worth 19-20 million dollars, then she is looking at $10 million, 9.5 million, somewhere in there. The judge said, that is not going to fly. Okay? But Judge David F. Everett ruled that the document does not confer ownership. So the estate is the sole owner of all intellectual property rights that Earl Simmons acquired during his marriage to Tashera, as well as any and all other trademarks and intellectual property rights that belonged to Earl Simmons at the time of his death. The judge wrote this in a ruling. Now, while their divorce settlement did mention intellectual property, the late rapper was adamant before his death that this only referred to royalty payments. The judge continued, under the circumstances of this case, the court will not, in effect, reopen those proceedings to reinterpret the party's 2016 settlement agreement, particularly where the party best positioned to contest a contrary interpretation is now deceased. In other words, we're going to continue to go off of the words of what DMX said before he died. And we're definitely not going to be reopening that sealed paperwork to try to reinterpret it, because DMX, the main character in this show, he is no longer here. So he can't sit and represent himself and say, it is clear what I said. He can't back up what he said. So they have to depend on what he said before he passed. DMX and Tashara Simmons, they were married for a long time, man. They were married for 16 years. They share 4 children together. Xavier, his oldest, who was born in 1992. Tacoma, who was born in 1999. Sean, who was born in 2002. And then you have Praise Mary Ella, who was born in 2005. During their time together, DMX released some of his most popular music. This included the hit single Rough Riders Anthem and Party Up. That up in here, all those. They filed for divorce in 2013, and they finalized that agreement over the divorce 3 years later, so that would be 2016. DMX died 5 years later after his divorce was finalized from his wife at the age of 50 following a drug overdose and ensuing heart attack. Heart attack that was brought on by the drugs. The latest news about DMX's ex-wife's lawsuit comes almost exactly 4 years after his passing. Now, she did achieve one victory in court. It's recorded. According to Hot New Hip Hop, it says that Judge Everett ruled against dismissing her claim that DMX owed her $214,000 in child support. He suggested that dismissing it at this point would be premature. So, is she going to get the money? All the kids are grown. The judge says, we'll take it to court and we'll deliberate and we'll fight over that and we'll see if you come out with that $214,000 in child support. But what we do know is you're not getting half of that man's estate. Damn. You know, I know a lot of people are going to say, damn, they were married for 16 years. She was there at the height of his fame. She was there holding him down when he was wild and out of control. She loved him. She endured a lot. She gave him some beautiful children, all this other stuff. I don't think DMX has children outside of this woman. I've never heard of any other children. So it's safe to say that she probably has all his children. Now, with that said, a lot of people are going to say that's somebody that deserves half of your estate after you pass, if they're still around. But it's not like she has the children to raise, you know? The children are grown. So at this point, is she deserving of half of a $20 million estate? I don't know. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. I know she went for it, though, but the judge shot her down. I'll catch you on the next video. And again, may DMX rest in peace. There's a message in this before we go, though. If you got things, make sure you have a will in place, because the last thing you want to do is die. And after you're dead, somebody who you don't even rock with, somebody who never even liked you in real life, takes control of everything that you worked hard for and earned. And it didn't go to who you would have wanted it to go to. So a will is super important. Let that sink in. I'm out. Peace.